Good evening and welcome to yet another episode of the FPV Livestream. I'm your host, Paul Nurkala, aka Nurk, aka Boba Fett, aka whatever the heck you want to call me. Tonight we are building the Flynosaurus or Flynosaurus, I'm not sure which, Cerebrus Mini. It's a little micro or 3-inch quad that they sent me. I've been communicating with Gil Coronado, also known as 32 Bits of Gil. And he wanted to, he wanted me to build one of these on the stream, and so he connected me with Flynosaurus, who connected me with this, and that's what we're building tonight. I'm super excited about it because my 3-inch, which up until recently was the mini scythe, mini reaper, micro reaper, I'm not sure which, broken arm. So we're building into the Flynosaurus Cerebrus, and that's what we're gonna do tonight. Alright, let's see. On break, welcome. So what on tonight? Cerebrus. Excellent. Caught this live. Welcome. This will be the first time I've caught it from the beginning. Great. Cool. So let me show you what we are working with tonight in terms of electronics. To the USB cam. Per request by a lot of people, we're now hooked up with the overhead projection, so you gotta let me know how you think about this, whether or not you think it's working or not. But that's what it is. So for motors, here we've got, excuse me, we've got the Brother Hobby T1 1407 3600 kV. I've always wanted to build a 3-inch with these. I've never done it before, so I'm pretty freaking pumped about that. This is a Flip 32 F4 board. It's some sort of F4 micro board. I'm actually not totally sure which it is. And then for the camera, we've got the mini RunCam Swift. I've never actually built with this thing, but I think it's a full CMOS camera. That's in the form factor of something really tiny. So, like, do I have an AIO? Compared to a tiny whoop camera, you know, this is a tiny whoop camera, and this is a full CCD sensor. So, I think that should be pretty cool. All right. Then I've pre-mounted the VTX because I wanted to use a little bit of hot glue and I didn't want to do that on stream because it's super embarrassing. But this is the on-lock VTX. I don't know, lighting is a little bit overblown there, but watching on the big screen, awesome. Take a picture, tweet at me or something. Not tweet, Facebook, whatever. It's got a switch on the side that goes from pit mode to 25 to 200, and then it has, I think it's a 72 channel VTX. So it's got those extra ones that you can't use anyway, and a boost mode which bounces 200 to 400 milliwatts if you need it. It's a pretty cool thing. It's like 30 bucks, 20 bucks, 25 bucks, something like that, which is pretty freaking sweet. So, so I've glued it into the top plate here, and this will essentially sit over top of everything like that. And the this one will go to the camera and powers it, and then I took the power leads for the VTX and ran them down the I actually kind of wedged them between this TPU and the carbon fiber, and ran it down underneath so that there's no dangling wires or anything from that, which I think will be nice and clean. I know you can see a lot of hot glue here, but you can't see it once you put it on. And something that I should point out is that there's a standoff here, here, and here. And then there's 3 individual interlocking pieces of TPU that go down the side with an antenna mount on the back. It's actually really cool. I'm pretty pumped about it. Is this a stretch frame? Yes. Is there a 4-inch version? I think so. I think I saw a 4-inch version. I'm not sure. I think I put a link to it on my website from the link to my website in the comments. So that should get you there. Let's see. What else we got? The props we're going to use are the DAL 3-inch 3045. They're all I have right now. I've got some racecraft ones on the way. This is the receiver that I'm going to use. It is Futaba 6,000 SB, so S-bus receiver. It's a little bit bigger than, you know, like an XM, but that's the penalty for going Futaba. We've got, these are Cicada ESCs from Furious. They've lasted long enough that I keep using them because they've got the LEDs in them and stuff, which is pretty cool looking. Beat up XT30, and then there's some extra connectors in here for stuff that we need. Can't hear you over my printer. That's fine. That's not my problem. So, I'm going to start with the speed controllers and just get them all wired up to the motors, and then we'll figure out how to get it wired up to the flight controller. The first thing I'm going to do is clean these off a little bit. I took them off of a build like right before this. And I know I'm going to need longer power wires, so I'm just going to go ahead and take these off right now. What version of Raceflight have you been using? I have not flown Raceflight in months. Are you going to Flight Fest? East? Sure. Why did you ditch Free Sky because of the sponsorship? I didn't ditch Free Sky. I just added Futaba to the resume and fly it primarily. I still have my Tyrannus, and I still use it fairly often, but I can't talk about it or promote it or anything. You know, it's just normal sponsorship dealios. I really like my Futaba. The only thing that I miss about Free Sky is what do I miss? I miss CSRF for the Crossfire. So that's really the thing that I use it for the most. And yes, I'm running Futaba now. Let me grab some mounting tape. Okay, so then I use mounting tape to put the speed controllers on the frame. Sorry I'm late. Hello all. Welcome. Michael F. I like to make my center of mass as centralized as possible, so I'm going to run these as close as I can. Should work. We'll come back and zip tie them later. It's one of the reasons I love mounting tape so much. Would you use the Emax 4000 motors for your 3-inch? No. And I have used them. They're fine. They're not torquey enough. I'm not high of a KV for most of the good 3-inch props. My problem with 3-inch is that there's not many great props available for it. And the ones that do well require slightly lower KVs with higher torques. So you end up with the most of the people that run 3-inch fairly seriously are running 1407 motors because of that, rather than 1306, which is what Emax makes. They may have come out with a 1407 that I'm not aware of yet, but yeah, at least the last time that I cared, these were still the king motors. Although T-Motor just announced that they're revamping their F20 line, which would be sweet. So on this board, there are two the motor tabs are right there. So this is LiPo right there and there, with positive and negative. And then in the middle is the signal line. I made that a little bit shorter, but whatever. Ooh, sorry. What about the new racecraft props on the 4000 kV? I don't know. That seems overpropped to me, but I guess I can't say that for sure because I've never tried them yet. I have some on order that should be here anytime. Pro tip: when you're cleaning off your ESCs, always make sure you leave one as a template, so that you know which thing is positive and which is negative. It's always nice to not forget. Focus is rather bad on the overhead cam. Let's see if we can fix that for you. That was pretty sharp right there. This outside wire is the positive. Man, that's a huge wire. Never mind, I'm using this wire. See what we got. I just grabbed the same size wire. Let's see if we can. Wait, is this a race flight build? No. Props did not make it in time, though. That's okay. White Spy, is this one of your boards? I bought it off a friend because I needed something last minute. Are the LEDs on those ESCs? Yes. There are LEDs on these ESCs. Well, they're just like wrapped in the heat shrink. Ah! I'm just bumping into everything. Stop. Sorry, guys. Just got done flying my new Kratos FX. Awesome, I'm glad you like it. I just finished mine up again today. Actually, I had to rebuild one. I put a crossfire in it. I flew it out 1 kilometer and back. That was pretty fun. I chickened out. I could have gone farther. Video was still crystal clear on 200 milliwatts. If you won't have ghosts, babies, will you have mine? Sure. Alright, how's that look? Oh, you know what? I forgot about something. I need to do this first, because I won't be able to reach it once. So that's just a 12-volt pad from LiPo. I'm just trying to melt. I used hot glue to get that mounted on there, but Blue Falcon just stomped on you? Dang. That sucks. First Bardwell, now Blue Falcon. Everybody wants a piece of that live stream action. Somebody go tell him that I'm streaming right now. Check the focus again. Right. How about that? Okay, so those are the power leads, and now I'm going to run wire to this 12-volt pad. Ah, too much. Blue Falcon apologizes to you. He probably doesn't even know who I am. Okay. So that's all wired up. Now where's my top plate? So we need to hook these wires up, unfortunately. When did the stream get moved to Wednesday? Last stream? No, 2 streams ago. It just works much better for my life and my wife to do it on Wednesdays. I mean, as you know, it stopped happening for a while even because of that. So figured we'd rather have it than not have it. So it's got to be Wednesdays. Okay, so I just put the top plate wire for power on there so that we can just plug that right in. Oh, except I gotta go through the camera mount here. And that's gonna be frustrating. Lovely. So this will just flip around and go on like that. And because we're done with that 12-volt pad, we can put this back on. And everything should be hunky-dory. Is Josh Bardwell currently streaming? I have no idea. You want to see me fly an X-Class quad through the house? That would be impressive. I got trouble sitting in Hangouts last few nights. I blame you. Sorry. Thursday night is date night. Nice. Definitely don't tell your mom it's a room full of dudes on video cameras. It's funny because it's true. Okay, so these are the leads for the XT30, which I'm going to do next because I want to test things as we go because this is a really tight build. And I'm spending money. Nice. Dude, you ripped the shit out of that Dominican water park. It's good stuff. Keep up the good work. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's probably my favorite video ever that I've worked on. It's that was an amazing spot. It was an amazing time. My friend Giancarlo was very, very helpful. You know, he didn't want to fly there for some reason. I think he was down to 1 quad or something. So he just took the camera and was filming for me, which was awesome. I mean, it made such great content, I think. So I was thrilled about how it turned out. Wait, the floss is out finally? I thought it was. What's up, brother? My nephew showed your video in school yesterday. He said the kids were freaking out. That's awesome. Which video did he show? That's what I want to know. How embarrassed do I need to be? Pizzy, do you have a link to the information on this flight controller? I mean, I've figured out enough so far, but when it comes to like hooking up the receiver and stuff. Jiffy Pop, it was a nice, neat spot, well videoed. Thank you. What batteries are you going to use on that build? Tattoo 850 mAh 4-cell. Not because I prefer Tattoo, but because that's just what I have. I would probably prefer Pulse. Hi, dude, cool vids. Say, do you use the same PIDs for freestyle and racing, or do you have different for each mark? I have different quads for freestyle and racing, and those two quads have different PIDs. Does that answer your question? Cool. All right, so I'm gonna plug it in. We should get a VTX turning on, as well as this ESC turning on initializing, as well as that flight controller turning on. Here's one of the Tattoo batteries. Magic smoke in 3, 2, 1. No flight controller. Got shorts in there? Daisy, did you give me a bum flight controller? Is that the 16x16, or does Paul have huge hands? He does have huge hands. I don't think this is 20x20, not 16x16. VTX is coming out at least. Ready to fly quads.com, flip 32 F4 Pico. This can take 4-cell, right? Try USB. Okay, that's it. I mean, no LEDs are coming on at all. Alright, here's USB. Oh, came right on. Okay. So I guess we'll flash this. Does this flash with Pico? Pico BLX, Plum F4. Let's see. Ready to fly quads.com. Only live stream builds, or do you so you get ideas when it goes wrong? No. That's a good question though. Flight controllers, flip. That looks like the one. From 1S all the way up to 4S. Betaflight, flip through PC9 hex. Omnibus. I'm looking in Slack, hold on. Oh, okay. So I do want to use that one. So I'm going to download. I'll go 3.7. I've got 3.7 running fine on some other stuff, so. Direct download. Into downloads. Betaflight. Load firmware local. Downloads. Betaflight. Open. Flash. Okay, we got to boot into boot mode. Use the custom firmware in the description if you plan to use. I'm not planning on using an MX Plus. I'm using a Futaba, which is functionally identical to S-Bus on a are these the boot pads? Yes. Or is it on the bottom or something? Where's those dang boot pads? Let's see. Boot 2. 0. Is it not the ones right next to the... Yeah, it's just not booting off of the LiPo. But it will boot off of the USB. Did it blow a reg or something? But it will also restart if these. I thought this was the boot pad here. But you can see it shut off when I short them. So I've got them shorted right now. And then I push the USB in. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Release the boot pad. and it starts to boot. What? Yeah, so this is the problem. So I'm shorting the boot pads right here next to the USB, which I think you can see. I'm holding it down, I'm plugging it in, so the USB is now connected. I'm still holding down the boot pads. As soon as I release the boot pads, it boots normally. You can see the LED starting to flash. That was going on when I hooked up VBAT to my tri-build. I mean, this has it's a PDB direct. It should be. Are you using the middle pad as the signal pad? Yes. So let's see if there's any like shorts or something like that. Let me try one thing. Is this LiPo charged? Maybe it's like too low voltage or something. Did you check continuity? Yes, I did. This is 15.5 volts in that battery, so the battery's not dead. Meter the regulator output with the battery plugged in. Did the magic smoke? There was no magic smoke. Alright, so we'll plug the battery in and then check to see if it's producing 5 volts anywhere. just kidding. Right and left of each other like this. I'm looking at it upside down. I don't even know. No, it's processor side. So ground should be the outermost, and 5 volts should be one of the inner ones. So this and this. But we're not getting 5 volts there. He's dead. Dead. Well, let's hook it up to a 5 volt regulator and see what that does. Probably want some pretty thin wires. Put the 5 volt into one of the motor ESC power? No. I'm going to put it onto a 5 volt pad. I had hooked it up direct to LiPo when I had it on my build. Huh? So this should be +5 according to the chart. And this should be keep your tips clean, boys. That should be ground. Oh, missed. Alright, moment of truth. Can take direct 2 to 4S power in, but the onboard back will only work for 2 to 3S. Well, there you go. And boots up just fine like that. Well, that explains that. Well, hot dang! So we gotta figure out how to fit this 5 volt reg on here. So that should fit like that, I think. And we got a 5 volt there. And then we'll just have to run our battery out the side, which is fine. I think I would prefer that anyway. Okay. All right, we're making progress now. Okay, so what happened was that the flight controller does not take direct 4-cell batteries because it cannot run the regulator at 14 or 16 volts. So it can take a 3-cell battery and run the regulator fine, but for a 4-cell you need an external 5-volt source. So what we're doing is hooking up a 5-volt linear regulator so that we can run direct 4-cell into this whole thing without having to worry too much. Okay, this whole thing should still fit on top of that. No problem. It is stretched, yes. All right, does that make sense, everybody? Anybody have any questions about that? Because we kind of breezed over that. So we'll just go ahead and bridge these bad boys. Actually, no, we're not. Positive and negative on different sides. It's too bad. That would have been really convenient. But no. Why not just use the 12 volt you have on board already? Oh my gosh, that's too smart! That's actually really smart. Because it'll run off 12 volt. Yeah, okay, let's do that. That's way better of an idea. Well, no, because... No, I need... Wait, so does that mean I need a whole power distribution board? Actually, there's a question. So, can I put both 12 volt, or can I put both 4-cell and a 5 volt to the rails in? Does that make sense? So I need to use the flight controller as a power distribution board because this flight controller is, or because there's not, I don't have a 20 by 20 power distribution board. So can I run 4-cell straight into the flight controller and then run a separate 5-cell straight to a 5 volt, or 5 volt straight to a 5 volt rail and have it power up? And that's why I couldn't use the 12 volt regulator, because I have to give it 5 volt. Yeah, okay, I think that would work. All right, so let's try that first. So I'm gonna wire these guys up real quick. Hot. No, you need a 4-in-1 ESC. Ew, hate 4-in-1s. Also, there's no 30 by 30 mounting pattern on this. So there's the positive. You gotta cross it over to the positive on the other side. So we're just wiring these two regulators together so that they'll share LiPo power. this has become crazy already. Trim it up a little bit. I thought you said you were like 5-inch. I much prefer 5-inch, but I also like challenging builds. Okay, so I'll tell you what, I'm never using this flight controller again. Sorry, Paul. It looks nice, but it's making the build quite complicated. Okay, let's check continuity on those because they're all real close together. Okay, that should be fine. And then I'm just going to wire my LiPo straight to those and run it out the side. We got a negative here. These are nice and thick gauge wires that I use, so it should be okay. Here. Check continuity again. Okay. So now if we power that up, you should get 5 volt there, 12 volt there. So we basically just made our own 5 volt, 12 volt power distribution board. So we should have 5 volt here, which we do, and 12 volt here, which I think we do because the flight or the VTX is coming on. Okay, so now we need to put our wires back in for the flight controller. That will take the power and put it into the power distribution on the flight controller. I'm building something with the Emacs Femto. We did that a couple weeks ago, actually. It's a pretty awesome little board, actually. I really liked it. It's no nonsense. I kind of want to build a full-size quad with a Femto flight controller, just for kicks and giggles. Okay, so there's LiPo voltage there. A high enough gauge, you think? 20? No, I'm gonna get bigger. There we go. This is some 16. Bigger for what? The flight controller? No, the I'm going to run direct LiPo voltage into the pads on the flight controller, which will distribute power to the ESCs. So basically, all 4 ESCs are going to be running off of this cable. here. So this is going to go right up into the flight controller. And then I'm separately going to run the 5 volt into the 5 volt pads on the flight controller itself. So this is going to go to the pads, and this is going to go to the 5 volt rail. What do you guys think about that solution? Does that deserve a like and a subscription? Can that FC handle all those amps? What amps? I mean, it'll draw like 20 at full throttle. I don't know, something stupid low. Okay, so now that should distribute power to the ESC, so we'll just wire up this ESC while we're here as a test. Now we have to wire 5 volt to the flight controller. Which, do we not have any closer 5 volts, or do I really have to go all the way across? Looks like I have to go all the way across. Zephyr says he's having issues with the 3-inch. Oh, I think I saw your post about that, but I was on my way to a meeting with a client. So how are you powering the ESCs off of the flight controller? The flight controller's distribution, anyway. Did you put multimeter on ESC pads? What? Never thought of wiring up that way, but that makes sense. It keeps it simple for not running a forward. Yep, exactly. I like simple. It makes me happy. Well, I was hoping that this was going to be like a nice, clean build, but we're having to jerry-rig some solutions here, so hopefully these solutions work. So you made a distribution board for your distribution board. My brain's just melted. That's how we do it in the pro leagues, guys. So this is the 5 volt for the flight controller, going straight to the 5 volt rail. So now, if we plug it in, power should go into the regulators and simultaneously up into the flight controller, where it will distribute powers to the ESCs, but will not power the flight controller. However, the flight controller is wired into the 5 volt, which is wired into the LiPo, which will in turn power the flight controller, so the ESC should turn on and the flight controller should initialize. That's the theory. In practice, God only knows. I'm just gonna quick check continuity again, just in case. All right, we're good. Magic smoke. Please work. In 3, 2, 1. Yeah! That's right! That's how we do it! Oh, I love it. I can't believe that worked. Well, actually, I can, but I'm a little... I'm pretty thrilled with that. Dang, son. Cool! Alright. I got some more ESCs to do. A lot more ESCs to do. So the flight controller has a built-in power distribution board. Yes, that's exactly right. Alright, guys, it's almost like we know what we're doing. It's a little bit messy, though. What those nylox go? Not nylox, but nylon. Might want to insulate those voltage regulators. They don't have, it's flat PCB on the bottom, and they're held there with electric, or hot glue, so it should be okay. I do that all the time with these, something just like it. Well, I'll just hot glue it right to the surface of the carbon to kind of make a built-in frame power distribution board. The solder pads for this thing for the power distribution is painfully tight. I'm very worried about shorting a connection. I'm trying to take my time here and make sure that I got everything just right. Sorry, I know my hand is blocking it. Daniel Canham usually watches with his girlfriend. Is she with us today? Speaking of guys and gals. Said he was watching on the TV, so it's not outside the realm of possibilities. Wish I remembered her name. I met her. Okay, 2 potentially working. Let's see. Gosh, this looks like such a mess. I don't know if I can do any better. Cool. Alright, let's just power it up again as we go and make sure that the CSC is now working. 2. Moment. MKME Lab is now paying for subs, it looks like. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll go check it out. Actually, would you do me a huge favor and go to my website and submit the contact form and remind me to go check it out? Because I'm not going to remember after the stream, because I'm usually just so wiped by the end of it. But yeah, if you do that, I'll definitely go check it out when I sit down on my computer next. Is there a giveaway for this one? Unfortunately, there is not. This build was kind of a little bit last minute, and it's partially a testing dealio that they want me to do with it. So it's so I'm holding on to it for a while. I'm going to keep this built until I get my full core. I would totally be up to a collab. Where did you get the mount for the RunCam Micro? This is actually a HS1177 mount that I just bent until I got it where I wanted it. And then I used the screws that came with it, as well as some little plastic washers to help lock it up. Anybody know what it weighs on its own? I forgot to check that, I'm sorry. It's probably pretty heavy for a 3-inch. There's a lot of carbon, whole 3mm plate. But there is not much hardware. Like, it takes maybe, I think it's 2 screws and 2 nylock nuts to keep it all together. So it's really light there. So it might be fairly comparable to others. I tell you what, this little guy is making me want to check out the full-size one. I'm really digging the I really dig this top plate way of doing it. It's very unique and very cool. I might actually even end up doing like a review on this, which I don't usually do a ton of, but I'm really liking it, so I want to kind of give it some promotion and actually figure out my thoughts on something rather than just kind of be like, hey, here's the thing. If that makes any sense at all. FPV Livestream domain is expired. I go to paulnercola.com. The link is, or the URL is in the corner box thing. Will there be a test flight? Yes. I did this build with a 12 amp 4-in-1. Beware having the flight controller and ESC stacks make the build extremely tight. Frame weight 89 grams? That can't be right. That's, I mean, that would be like half the size of a 3-inch. Are you sure you're not looking at the full size one, the 5-inch? Make sure you're looking at the Cerebrus Mini or Micro or whatever it is. There's no way this frame is that heavy. Ugh, tolerances are so tight. Alright, should be 3. There's another try for magic smoke. Holla! Did I just say that? Really? Be right back. Project Blue Falcons. You're using 4-in-1, you'd be fine by now. Yeah, but only for one battery, and then I'd have to swap out the entire 4-in-1 because 4-in-1s suck. Get out of my stream. I want to add a 3-inch to my fleet. I like the frame, but don't want a chunky frame. I don't think this will be chunky once it gets in the air. We're getting there. What batteries are you planning on using in this build? These ones. They're Tattoo 850 mAh 4 cell. I also have some Pulse 450 mAh 4 cell. That I will probably also use a little bit on it. This is a tight little build. I don't remember like a regular Pico being quite this ornery. Well, I'm kind of hoping that this is a build I once, never mess with it again kind of rig, because it's pretty tough. Another chance for magic smoke coming up. Right about now. Yep. Bueno. Alright, now I need a receiver. What kind of flight time are you expecting? Oh, probably like 3.5 minutes on the 850s, maybe a minute and a half, 2 on the 450s. 450s go pretty fast. Oh, America's on multimeter? That's funny. Sure. Uh-oh. I don't remember which way around this was. I committed it to memory and then immediately forgot it. pretty sure ground's in the third. Voltage is in the middle, so they can't move around. So now we're wiring up the receiver, which is the last step, hopefully. That type of build, you should dip the whole damn thing in hot glue. Yeah, right. Oh no, did I just... Reset. Okay, I thought I ripped a wire down there. I dry fit most of this together earlier, and this was like the best place that I could find to put this giant receiver. Is this one going to carry a HD cam? Not usually. I'll probably find a way to jerry-rig it though. I like having the ability to put a GoPro on 3-inch, just because you can do kind of fun stuff with it, where you like in the bridge that I did, or the video that I did at the train bridge. There's one shot where I like fly up into the trusses. I did that with a 3-inch with a GoPro strapped to it, and it just looked really cool. It looks way more ballsy when you don't know that it's a 3-inch. Although you could probably figure it out if you really pay attention. But... Okay, that's ground for the receiver. Power for the receiver. Maybe I've already did. Okay, now I need to figure out where the S-bus port is. So this sends signal back, so it needs to go into a RX. We'll go into RX3, which is ground 5 volt 3. So it should be this one right here. Alright, now with any luck, if we power this up, that receiver shall turn on. Oh, what do you know? Where's my radio? I'm just waiting for that gorilla to wake up. Can't even see the gorilla. Gavin, when are you going to have me on the show? The SPV show. Oh, it's bound and everything. Love it. Alright, let's hook it up to the computer. Okay. It's funny, it's powering the ESCs off of the USB. Okay, so this is my arm and air mode. I don't want failsafe on a switch. Save. Okay, I'm just going to turn air mode on here while I'm at it. Motor 1 is spinning correct. I'm going to do props out on this one. 2 is correct. Oh boy. 3 is wrong. And 4 should also be wrong then. Wrong. Okay, we're going to disconnect, go over to BL Heli. And we're going to reverse 3 and 4. Okay. Now if we arm, it should arm. Yeah. It's interesting. Configuration. Should be facing forward. Isn't it? Or did you have this props out? Didn't even realize that we were both sponsored pilots for RunCam. Nice. What's the yaw reverse command? I don't even remember. I'm worried that that's what Pizzy did, is have he has it reversed. Okay, that's correct. That's correct. 3 is correct. 4 is correct. Set yaw, or let's just get it. Get yaw motor direction. -1. Oh, that explains it. Equals 1. Equals -1 to 1. Oh, set. Save. Get yaw motor direction is 1. Okay. Connect, PID tuning, no, configuration. There's no rotation on the board. Why would it be doing that then? All the motors are spinning the right way. Let me make sure that I've got the board. Maybe I have the board backwards or something. I don't think so. Motor 3 forward with the pads on the back. These are props in. No, it's supposed to be props. I want them props in. So I want yaw direction to be 1. If that makes sense. Okay, betaflight configurator, connect. I'm not running D-shot. No, I said I don't want it to be props out. Configuration, I'm going to turn the accelerometer on. Save new boot. Okay, now I'm going back to the configuration page. If I tilt it forward, it tilts forward, backwards, backwards, right, right, left, left. Okay. Configuration. Turn off the accelerometer again. I don't want props to be reversed. I want props to be normal. Motors. On. Okay. Motor 2 is in. Motor 4 is in. Motor 1 is in. Motor 3 is in. So those are all right. So they're all spinning the correct direction. Izzy, didn't you have some crazy motor remapping going on? 4. I mean, they're all normal from what I can tell. Turn ACC on and look at the setup page. I just did that. It's fine. Get yaw motor direction. Yaw motor direction equals 1. So that's normal. PID tuning. Nothing's abnormal there or there. Receiver. It's all pretty normal modes. It's fine. Configuration. Multi-shot. Throttle and stuff is set. Like I can't even, I don't know what else to do. Is it just twitching from low min throttle and overreacting? Maybe. It's possible. Let's try bumping it up to 1070. I'm gonna go back to BL Heli really quick and check on. They are all calibrated. Turn its min throttle to 980. You want me to turn min throttle down below? Try unplugging USB and test. Are you sure 2 ESCs are reversed and 2 are normal? I'm pretty sure that ESC direction is normal. Okay, so I have turned up minimum throttle at least. Try this. What in the world? Is it just a busted gyro or something? So trying it without USB connected did not help. No, the gyro... The accelerometer works at least. Right. I had an issue last week, betaflight with a Dodo board where the orientation was showing up correctly in the GUI, but the board was actually 270 degrees off on roll. So are you sure the board config is correct? I am 90% sure. Look at sensors tab. Okay, let's do that. It's not doing anything weird at all. Need to just check the directions for gyro using the little quad diagram in BF. I did that, I checked that, it was fine. Set motor direction equals -1. I don't want it to be -1 though. I want it to be 1. Yeah, it's just as bad that way. just reflash it. But we can't boot up. Stupid board in bootloader mode. Just throw some props on and try it. That's a good attitude. Okay. So I'm going to turn accelerometer on. Save. We go back to the setup tab. Okay, so now it's on. I'm tilting it forward. It tilts forward. I'm yawing it right. It yaws right. Yawing left. It yaws left. I tilt it back. Tilts back. Left. Left. Right. Right. So it works. I'm not running it on D-Shot. Mixer is normal. Mercury flash full wipe. I can't do that because the stupid board will not boot in. I mean, even sure it's 600 gyro, but it shouldn't do this. It's like, how am I supposed to flash this thing when I can't short the boot pads? Okay, I'm trying to short it now. Didn't short. So it is shorted right now, but it won't. I'll get it. Tell you what, let me reflash the ESCs once real quick while we can at least do that. What's the deal with DFU mode? When I try to short the bootloader and plug in, let's see. When I try to short the bootloader and plug it in, the bootloader or no LEDs light up on the board until I take the bootloader off and short the boot, take the boot short off. At which point the board just boots, and it never entered DFU mode. Short power up while shorting. What's the DFU CLI command? Is there really that thing? Oh, cool. Let me try that next. No bootloader. Okay, so I'm gonna short it. While powering it up. Okay, so it should be in bootloader mode. Now I'm plugging it in. And it's not reading anything on the USB. It's not giving me the board as an option. Now I'm unplugging it. Still not showing up. Alright, make sure I'm not touching the USB here. Alright. Plugging in USB. Still nothing showing up on the USB. Make sure ESC window is closed. It's not open. Switching USB ports. Same thing on the other USB ports. It must say DFU mode first for that flight controller. Well, it's not saying shit. Okay, it is not in DFU mode right now on purpose. Going into the CLI, typing DFU, and then it just doesn't read it anymore. There's just nothing there. Why do you guys gonna do anything? The baud rate is just the. Isn't that fixed for anything? I just typed DFU and CLI. Nothing. Try on a Windows. No. Short the pins with tweezers. You cannot be touching the USB or the 3M ring hole. Alright. Try it again. I mean, it is booting in. Oh, oh, oh! Nope. Get red at that time. Go back to this. Flash. Flash on connect. Aha, there it is. Look at that. Maybe I just suck. I need to sit down for a sec. This better work. Call Microsoft support. Alright. Connect. Configuration. Serial based. Spruce. Multi-shot. Separate. 4000. Air mode. Save. Connect. Config. Ports. 3. Save. Have a beer. Yeah, that would be great. Connect. Config. SBus serial. Accelerometer off. Save. PID. Just leave that alone for now. Receiver. TAER. Save. Turn that on. Make sure it works. Oh my gosh, Alex, thank you so much. Go to Ale Emporium. I love that place so much. Arm. Anti-gravity. Save. Okay. Disconnect. I'm going to pull the USB. I'm going to plug in the power. I'm going to arm. Why did the ESCs not initialize? Now what? So, new problem. Come on. If we go back to this. So here's what's happening now. If you watch real close, there's an LED right in here somewhere. And I power the LiPo in, and it just slowly fades away and never initializes. But the board is still getting 5 volt. I just checked that with my multimeter. The board just kind of poops out pretty much immediately. This is why we don't have nice things. And I lost my chat window. I do not like this board. This board is fired. Motors tab doesn't work. Like they're not multi-shot ESCs, they're BL Heli CSCs. See how the flight controller is not initializing at all. Try 3.1.6 on that page. So I have to reflash it again? God damn. Alright, let's try this. Alright. OBS, going back to desktop. Betaflight. Alright, attempt to get this back into DFU mode. Firmware flash, load, 1.6, flash. Alright, it's erasing, and we're waiting. Ugh. Man, I hate mini quads, man. Sorry for your pain. I hope some people are learning. Yeah, I'm learning right now. Thank you very much, Busy. Wish you were coming tomorrow. And connect. Alright, let's see if the board initializes now. Nope, still doesn't initialize. I still see there's this LED right here. As soon as I plug it in, comes on and then slowly fades out. Merc, don't use full chip erase. Too late. So, yeah. It's just not working at all. I don't know what else to do. Like, it seems like a hardware problem because when I plug it in, it looks like it powers up and then slowly burns out. I don't get it. Let me see if you can even see this on the camera, but there's an LED right about there where my pinky is. Comes on and then slowly goes out. Comes on and slowly goes out. Comes on and slowly goes out. And then the board never initializes. Firmware flasher. Going back into DFU mode. Dick, fuck you. Come on, tape. Full chip erase off, manual baud rate, load firmware local. The same thing happens on. It's not my regulator. I plugged in. I plugged it in and checked it with the multimeter, and it was still giving out 5 volts. It's broken. I will take the trashed quad, please. No. I gotta get this thing flying. I really want to fly it. Weird, so it's not working now. Was spinning the motors no issue before? Yes, that's correct. I mean, and that's why we think it's a software issue, right? I mean, there's no reason for it to have been working and then stop working immediately for no reason. So I'm gonna I just flash it again with no chip erase, no initialize, unplugging everything, plug it in, no initialize. Is there possible that there's an issue with the USB cable? Has nothing to do with it. I flashed it successfully. I plugged it in. So it's plugged in right now. This is where my 5 volt is coming from. This is my multimeter. -5 volts. Well, -5 because I've got this back. And then if you check it on the board itself, you can see it. 5 volts there as well. I'm downloading. I have been downloading the use airbot F4 target in the drop down. Okay, let's put it in DFU mode again. Pro like this, rotary. Okay, we're in DFU mode. Just confirm that firmware has problem, that custom firmware on 5 volt. Okay. Okay, firmware flasher. Go to, what do you say, airbot F4? Not firmware erase 1.6. Load. Flash. If it's F4 board, you have to power through VBAD. It's not that. So White Spot, you got anything better these days than this? Connect. Alright. Pulling it, plugging it. Still doesn't work. What? That doesn't make any sense at all. Older version? Older than 3.1.6? Dang. I don't know if there's been a FPV live stream that we would like just flat out can't finish. I don't have another small little flight controller like this. Yeah, LED still went out. Dang. Well, I'm going to finish assembling it because I want to see what it looks like when it's totally put together. Because that's my favorite part. I know you guys like the hover test, but that's not going to happen tonight. Hey man, you were part of the super secret May 9th event. I know nothing of a super secret main eye event. But it sounds awesome. And like it's probably not much of a secret anymore. Let the board get full power, no camera or VTX sucking power. The only other thing that's sucking power is the receiver. The other two are running off of a separate 12-volt regulator. That's a good idea, though. I'll just put one of those in for now. So this is the little guy. No, I know. The Atmospheric Adventures had a frame that used that called the Aeolus. I'm going to switch over to this. This camera's a lot better. So this is the little guy all put together. Actually, I mean, it looks great. Oh, here, let's put some props on it. Maybe get like red props or something. Or I need to get them to send me a green TPU. Because green. Is the FC issue fixed? No. I mean, it worked fine before with the... That looks super good. Fun little 3-inch guy. I love stretch frames too. This thing's gonna be great. These are green LEDs too. I don't know if you can tell on the stream, but yeah. So that's the. So let's step back a sec and say. So this is the Cerebrus Mini. This is what we were building here on the live stream tonight. We had some trouble with the flight controller, which is not related at all to the Cerebrus Mini. So I hope that this was at least still a memorable live stream for you, watching me struggle to no end with this. Thank you very much to everybody for stopping by. I need to get going and get packing for a race this weekend. Yeah, this is the Cerebrus Mini. Go check it out at flynoshop.com or something like that. There's a link in the description to my website, which has a link to the frame itself. Somebody wanted to see how much space was in there. Pretty much. It looks like the flight controller and the VTX are touching, but they're not. And this is a really fat VTX, so it doesn't fit in here super well. But everything's in there nice and good. It looks really great. Yeah, so once I get this finally working, I'll update you guys on the Facebook. So if you like this, go like the FPV live stream on Facebook. That's where you can get notifications as to what's happening with everything. Like if updates happen, or when I usually post some nice pictures and the maiden flight video and initial impressions and all that stuff a couple days after the build is successful. And when you and yeah, so this is a weekly show again. We try to do this Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern time, which is 6 o'clock Pacific, and it's like 4 a.m. for anybody overseas. What's the final olive? Wait, I don't know. It's not worth it because it's not working. Yeah, feel free to join us next week. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do right now. I've got a bunch of different options. Actually, I've got like 3 or 4 things that I want to do on the stream. So we've got some ideas, but that's what we got plenty to be excited about. So, and if you are a first-time guest, again, come check us out next month. If you're a returning visitor, thanks for spending your Wednesday night with me. I really appreciate that. And you guys and your donations here and your support and you guys reaching out to vendors and individuals and sharing and all that kind of stuff, that drives this show to continue. So continue doing that. I really, 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 really appreciate it. And I don't know how to express that beyond just saying a lot of reallys. And finally, if you're a vendor and have a product that you want to showcase or that you want to have somebody mess around with, some of your stuff on live and see where the problems are and use that as a marketing technique, don't hesitate to reach out to me at my website at paulmerkala.com, which is right here, paulmerkala.com, and let's connect. Let's talk about something that we could do together. In the meantime, have an awesome week and weekend, I guess, is kind of coming up, and stay flying.